If what you want is real, relevant hunting, you are in the right place. With moderator Josh Miller, owner of Triple Point Outdoors, co-hosts Kevin Cook, owner of the Outdoor Pro Shop, and Brian Keitlinger, athlete and creator of Left in the Field Outdoors. Welcome to the Reinvent the Hunt Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Reinvent the Hunt Podcast. We're on episode 7 already, and we have a really awesome episode today. We have Kenny from SPYPOINT Trail Cameras on. We're going to learn a lot about trail cam technology, what's changing, what's going on with it. And I know I'm a novice at it, and I can't wait to learn a lot more about it. But today we have Brian on the show from Pennsylvania, the usual suspect, and also Kevin Cook from the Outdoor Pro Shop down there in Maryland. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Kenny's our guest from SPYPOINT. We can't wait to kind of learn a lot more about trail cam technology, but I know Brian has a recent story about an episode with some trail cameras that I'm interested in hearing about.
Yeah, I went over our break to a lease that I have through a buddy just outside of a decent sized city in Ohio. Swap out my lit 22 battery and even just swap some cameras. I had a Flex S out there that had been out there since probably September, if not earlier. Got a few odd pictures prior to going down. And my buddy said, hey, while you're down there, can you grab my 2 cameras? And I got down there and my Flex S was gone. His Flex LM2 was gone. And yeah, so that's a first for me. I've had cameras out all over the place. And that's a first. That's a first for me. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. You know, I come across cameras all the time in woods and do my best to avoid go around them, not even bother them and everything, because you know it's someone else's property, it's someone else's possession, and it just I don't know, it irritates me and aggravates me. But you know, but maybe they need it worse than I do. But I fear that they unscrewed it and chucked it in the river that was right there. That's my fear, because you know, the Flex S has a GPS on it. If it's still on, you can locate where it's at, which is a great feature. But yeah, they either turned it off or chucked it in the river. So
wow, did you get any last second pictures from it? Like anything transmit last minute?
Yeah, I had one of a possum at like 5 a.m. and but you know, prior to that, I had 2 people down there walking their dog on camera, and then I had a picture that almost looked like someone's, like this part of their hand was coming across the screen. But that was 2 or 3 days prior to it actually disappearing, unless they took it back to their place. And then, you know, the battery was close to running out. You know, so I mean, it just I don't know. Guess it is what it is. So I actually just got 2 more cameras delivered here yesterday. That I'm going to take back down there, and I actually just got done ordering another one today. I got a new Flex S and the lit 22 to replace it.
Yeah, it's really hard to have, you know, like you said, people work hard for their money, and I know whether it be tree stands or trail cams or whatever personal item, it's not mine out in the woods. I just have no interest in touching it. And like you said, I try to skirt around trail cameras and avoid them just out of respect for people. You know, people work hard for their money, so
yep,
that's hard. Well, thank Kenny for being on day from SPYPOINT. I guess we're all interested in learning what new technology SPYPOINT's coming out with this year, and what cameras they have and options they have, and also just best techniques for using a cell cam.
Well, thank you, first of all, for letting me be on here. As far as how to use them, I think Brian and I probably are real close to how we use them. We were on a conversation about a month ago, and between he and I and one other guy, we were bouncing ideas back and forth. Man, we'd love this, and this is how we do it. So I think he'll probably back up most of what I say on usage. But from product standpoint, we have 4 new products this year that we're coming out with. The first is what we're calling the Flex Plus. So it's the same as our Flex G36 that we had, except it's thicker. We're allowing you up to a lot more battery storage, so you can do 16 AA's or 8 AA's and and a lithium battery or 2 lithium batteries, however you want to do it. I mean, it'll, and the whole intent was just battery life. You know, if you've got, don't want to pay for a solar panel or one like a Flex S or something, you can get the Flex Plus and cram a bunch of batteries in it and stick it in a road area and let it run. But it's on the same Flex platform, which is pretty much everything we're doing from a cellular platform is all going to be based off of this the Flex basis. The other new one that we have from a cellular perspective is the Flex M. This is replacing would be the kind of the entry level model is what I would say. The intent is your LM2s, your Link Micros. This is what's going to replace it, right? It puts it down on the lower end of the price scale. Still does video, still does picture. You know, you can configure it all on your phone, but it's 720 video, and I want to say it's 20 something megapixels. I don't remember right off the bat, but it's, you know, it's lower end. But quite honestly, the megapixels is fine unless you're going to blow up, make posters out of whatever you're taking pictures out of. It's going to be good. And then on the non-cellular side, we've taken the Force Pro and we've done basically a Force Pro 48 and a 2.0. So they're both one's solar, one's not. They're both really good cameras. I have areas that I put my Force Pro in. I think the video quality, because it's 4K video, is just tremendous. So I've got one that literally sits out in my front yard, and it's the funnest one to go full because I always have critters that are out in front of it, and the video and the audio is just incredible. So Brian's nodding his head. I think he'll go along. Even the old Force Pro was just awesome. So really excited about the new ones. But that's it on the new cameras. So we're pretty excited about it.
That's great. So am I understanding it right that just for people out there, you know, I think learning's best, but you're looking at options. And I tell you, I stood last time I bought SPYPOINT, I stood in trail camera aisle and looking at all the brands and all the options and cellular and what network and, you know, what to do with it. But is it true that the models that aren't cellular tend to be have higher quality video and pictures, like higher resolution? The file is huge, so therefore it can't send as easily via cellular network, or not?
Absolutely. So which is the intent of like with the Force Pro, is because the video quality is higher, we can save it on an SD card and you can pull that, and you just get the better quality out of that. You think about the data transfer for anything on your cell phone. I mean, just take your cell phone and take one of the videos off of the SD card and try to send it to somebody. It takes forever, right? And they're using the same data plans that your phone is. So it's not just because it's a cell camera doesn't mean it's going to transfer any faster, right? So you have to keep that in mind, and that's what it's doing. And most of your cell companies or cell cam companies out there, you know, you have to request the HD video or the HD picture, and the reason why is it gives time for that transfer. There are a couple that just send the HD straight to your phone, but it takes a long time, right? You're not going to get it within minutes. You're going to get it within hours. And because it's a lot of traffic that they're fighting. So, you know, when people go through and think about features, that's one of the first things that they need to think about is do they just want the high quality video right off the bat and they don't mind checking SD cards? Stick with the non-cellulars. But there are so many benefits to cellular cameras anymore. Just, you know, being able to stick it out in the woods and not have to worry about it, not intruding on your hunting area is a huge deal. I've got a property that I have access to that the property owner and I both have cameras everywhere all over this. And I'm telling you, it's daily that I get pictures of him on his four-wheeler going by my cameras. But at the same time, that's a property that I don't mind going out at any time of the year, to include the rut, and messing with cameras, because that guy's on his four-wheeler every day. The turkeys don't mind, the deer don't mind, and they're just used to it. So
sure, that makes sense. What question you guys have about SPYPOINT or in general cell cams? I know I have a few more, but I want you guys to jump in here and ask things you might want to.
Yeah, what do you see sales wise? What are you guys selling more? Are you selling more the cell cameras nowadays?
Oh yeah, yeah. Cells on the cell cams. Everybody's into the cell cam usage. So that is obviously the hot market. You know, SpyPoint, when they kicked off, they were the instigators of the cell market, right? The cell cam market. And there's a lot behind that. It goes back to Vosker, the company who does security cameras, and they took that and created the platform of SpyPoint to transmit the pictures through the cellular system. And the biggest misconception that people have is I have to buy a Verizon camera for my Verizon phone or AT&T, and that's not the case. Used to be. I mean, Brian can tell you when you bought an LM2 or a Link Micro, you had to pick your company, but it was about who that cell service was best in that area. And anymore, it's all about the cell service in the area, and we don't care anymore on the Flex, because the Flex says, I don't care who your carrier is, we're going to pick up the strongest signal and send it to you.
That's nice. That's real nice. I know as a consumer standing in that aisle, when you see, all carriers, it's a no-brainer, because as long as you have cell signal in there at all, you plop it out. And I think what I love about my G36 Flex is, you put batteries in, you pop it up, you format the card, you turn it on, and you go. You do a one test picture, and within a minute or two, you're up and running, and it's immediate. It works really great. It's smooth.
Yeah, and I think Brian will attest to this. When you go out, when you think about the Flex platform, when it first came out, that was the biggest selling point. Was two things: is there's not a cellular camera that's easier to set up, because it literally is turn it on, press format, right?
I agree.
And then as soon as it's done, hit test picture, and off you go. I mean, there's nothing else out there like that. And then I go back to the cellular networks. Still to this day, most companies require you, if you don't pick a network, you still have to pick the card out of the thing. They may send you both cards, SIM cards in there, but with the Flex, you don't have to. It's true dual SIM. It's inside the camera. Again, turn it on, hit format, and off you go. It's the easiest thing. Back to the old Geico commercial, right? So easy a caveman can do it.
Yep, I agree.
I think Brian and I are true testaments to that.
Yep.
So,
I love that, though. It's just nice to go out there and you flip that lock open down and hit power, and you flip it up, and it's going to work. It's great. I put my Flex out, I think 2 weekends ago now. I know you guys have been seeing me posting some all kinds of turkey pictures, wild turkeys everywhere at my parents' property. But we went out and picked a nice pine to put it on, and I said, Dad, watch this. And my he's in his 60s, and he hasn't had exposure to cell cams. And so I think a good point to get across for everybody out there today is it doesn't matter what age you are. When you're working with a SpyPoint cell cam, you get a cell phone. Doesn't matter what age you are, you can learn how to do it really simply. It's not a high end thing that I think sometimes older guys think they can't do.
Oh yeah, I remember giving my dad my first cell cam for him to put up on his property, and you get one. I'm sorry, I'm going to use my camera here. You get a picture like this,
exactly.
And he's in there, and you're like, holy smokes, Dad, it's a camera. Just turn the thing on.
Yeah.
I've had everything set for you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. Brian, what's your I guess pro tips, since you've been using them longer than we all have down there, on setting up the cell cam, and what's the best way to set one up for turkey, deer?
I don't know. Mine never come out of the woods, and when I set them up, I mean, Kenny and I could probably talk about this all day. Most of mine are over mock scrapes, because they use them all year round. Come turkey season, I'll move one or two around to areas that I feel are strutting areas or fly down areas and things like that. On my own property, I set them, maybe about my sternum level area, so I get a good picture. Sometimes in the past, I have some really cool pictures and video. I put one up almost pointing straight down.
Oh, that'd be cool.
At a scrape.
Yeah.
And I got some really great pictures. Now, this was years ago.
That's cool.
I don't think a place where I can put one up high enough now to go down on my scrapes, because they're in thick, nasty areas. But I don't know. I watch, when I started doing stuff with SpyPoint, one of the things I really liked was the fact that they would make videos and put them on YouTube with great suggestions. And I just kind of went there and looked at stuff. So, okay, they suggest this cellular camera be this high. I mean, the first time I set mine first one up was the Link Evo. And I had a tape measure I took out in the woods, went to the base of the tree, went up, marked my spot, put it on there.
Yeah.
And seriously, once I kind of figured that out, I kind of just ran all of mine that way. But again, it depends. I run a lot of wood hoods over, like my Flex 36. I still have Flexes that are out there, and the wood hood protects the whole camera from any type of weather. I mean, we get tons of water and snow and everything, just like you guys. I want to protect those cameras. Now, the ones like the new Flex S and the ones that have the solar panels on top, you can't really do that with those. So I run a lot of, I will even hook up solar panels to some of my Flex S. I put a solar panel on it just so I never have to touch it. There's some, SpyPoint used to have these little 5x4 or 6x6 little solar panels that we plug in. I literally plug it into my camera, and I never have to touch them. So I don't have to make sure that panel is getting direct sun. I can hook the panel up to the bag. It's a lot of, I think, trial and error, as Kenny will say. The best thing now is the fact that you can test picture it with the Flex models, like the LM2. You kind of gotta turn it on and go, and then check your phone and stuff like that. But they have such a nice, I guess, coverage from the lenses that they use, that you can figure it out, with what you want to do. And I get deer all the time, especially in the videos, sniffing the camera, breathing into the camera, lick the camera.
Shots. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just sit there and go, oh, okay. They found that. But again, it's out there. A lot of mine are out there eye level. I don't know, Kenny, you have any tips or tricks you use out your way?
What was funny is he talked about the video about height. I used to always, the practice was, is my belly button was, I'm 5'9", literally a hair over 5'9", and I was always told, so that's what I did, was the belly button. And the same video you talked about was come up to the sternum, and I was telling you the difference in pictures, because depending on what came through, sometimes you get the full rack, sometimes you get just a partial rack, depending on how far away. And coming to the sternum, they could get pretty close, and you can still generally get the full rack in most cases, unless they're right on the camera, obviously. So that was a big one. And he did touch on the fact that, there's a lot of content just on the SpyPoint website that is worth going and watching. And they do a YouTube channel as well. Every year, or all year long, they're constantly updating videos on their different things. There used to be, I think it's food plots now, Brian. If I remember,
food plots now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so there's all kinds of stuff, and all of it's based around hunting and setting up your cameras and all that. So there's always good information. So I would highly recommend and go out and do that. Brian talked about the Flex S a lot. I as well. I've got several Flex S's that sit out, and they have sit out since I've received them. I mean, I put them out. I haven't moved. If I moved them, if they just moved from one location to another, but they haven't been turned off. They haven't come in.
I love
they just run. And which brings to mind a feature that I forgot to tell you about. So the Flex S, and it's also on the Flex Plus, is the instant mode. So you can go into the app and for that camera and turn on instant mode. And when you turn on instant mode,
You might need to.
you can at any point given time take a picture right then and there of whatever in front of your camera. Could be nothing, but whatever's in your camera. And you think about, I'm getting ready to walk into an area, take that instant mode, you'll know whether there's something there that you may booger. So it's a pretty cool feature, and it's on the Flex Plus as well.
Okay. So now is that the G36 Flex as well?
No.
Okay.
No, it's only on the Flex Plus and the Flex S.
So there's an instant setting, I think, on my app. Is that just if someone walks in front, it'll instantly transmit to me? Is that correct?
No. What you're looking at is when you open up your phone, when you click on your SpyPoint app.
Okay.
If you have the Flex S, at the very bottom, it'll give you like status, this, that, and at the very end, it'll say instant.
Okay.
And again, you can click on that instant. And Kenny, I think if I'm correct, you have to already be on instant photos for the instant to work. Is that correct?
Yes.
I haven't used it as of yet, because like I said, where my Flex S's are at, I'm kind of that person where I know I'm not going to be walking back in there. I know I'm not going to, so I don't have it set on instant, but mine do transfer every 2 hours, where when I get some new cameras, I probably, because they're going to be in sun, so I will put it on instant. I'm going to put one near my food plot. And exactly like you said, when you're walking in, you can click that and get a picture and be like, okay, I don't want to.
That's really cool.
Five turkeys or whatever off. So it is on the SPYPOINT app underneath where it says Flex S, instead of like 4 little toggles or 4 little icons, the instance on the very, very end.
Okay. So there's 2 things. So you have to go into the camera itself and then go under manage device, and there's operation mode, and it defaults to standard, but there's another mode called instant in there, and that's what activates that instant button. And so when you put it in instant mode, you have to wait till the next sync for it to take effect.
Makes
so
sense.
You can use it. But once it syncs, then in the app, you I'm going to see if I can. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me get it up here close enough. It ain't going to come in as my blur's not going to let you. But under the camera, you got your status, your gallery, your plans, your settings, and then on the Flex S, and again, we'll be on the Flex Plus, there's a camera icon that just says instant. So once you're in that operation mode and it's synced, you just hit that instant, and it's I think at worst case scenario that I've come across is about a 30-second turnaround to get the picture to my phone, and which is pretty quick. I mean, I've had it as fast as 15 seconds maybe, but 20 to 30 seconds is about average to get that to you. So it is a cool feature. I used this last year. I moved all my Flex S's to stand sites, and I took pictures before I got in just to make sure that. So it was cool. It
really cool
changes
function.
Whether you walk in or not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's because you'd be in the truck and just hit it, and before you walk out in the afternoon, just check to make sure there's nothing around. I like that, and I also like what Brian said earlier. I think the dynamic, trail cameras, I think not only allow us to monitor what game we're hunting, but also I think there's also like a level of creativity happening now, like almost like media content. Like on SPYPOINT's Facebook page, you can see really cool animals from around the world and awesome videos that people are capturing. So I think it creates almost another aspect of camaraderie in the hunting community, where you're out watching other people's trail cameras and what they're hunting, what they're enjoying. And I know last year I put that G36 Flex out in our place, and the first picture I got of that giant non-typical double drop time my wife hunted, I was on the floor. I was, what is this monster running around? And just they appear out of nowhere. And so I think that's a fun part of the cell cams is it's kind of it's almost like Christmas. You walk out, instead of checking your SD card like you used to, you get like that.
Nobody told you about the deer attractant feature.
No, right? yeah.
Everybody puts out a new G36 and gets a double drop time butt coming across that night, right, Brian? Isn't that the way it works?
Always, yeah.
It was something else. Well, I guess another question I have for you, Kenny, is on the solar models. Is it that advantageous? I know as far as powering them, like Brian said, you don't have to go out and check them at all, right? You just keep running continually.
I have one that literally sits on a field edge so they have an internal lithium battery right under that solar power, right? So it keeps it charged and going. But then there's also the battery pack that you put in there, or lithium battery, whatever you want. And you can put that in. But those batteries are backup. And the one that I have sitting on a field edge, there's no batteries in it, no battery pack, no nothing. I run totally off the solar. I never go out and touch that camera, and it just runs. It's been out since July, I think, of last year, and I've never put batteries in it. I charged it up when I got it, like you're supposed to, and took it out to the field, turned it on, hit format, took my photo, and done. And I walked away from it, and I haven't touched it since. So
that's incredible.
I know SPYPOINT just did an app update, and they kind of changed some things around and added some things. And I was going back because I have all my Flex G36s, and I still have a few original Flex cameras that I run. and they're all on the bigger SPYPOINT lithium solar panel. And I had to laugh because I checked the first time I got one of those solar panels and the flex together. I put it out in August of 2022, and I didn't even charge. The lithium panel came already partly charged or whatever. And when I put the camera out where it was and put the solar panel where it was and everything like that, it was reading like 92%. And it's still out there. It's now April of 2024. It's still out there. I don't have any batteries in the flex because you can't run batteries in the flex with the lithium solar panel.
Okay.
And it's still reading 92%. And it takes pictures. And well, when I'm in the season, I run it to video. I mean, it just doesn't stop. And the nice thing is the card never fills up. It'll automatically just start deleting your oldest pictures and stuff like that, but the card never fills up. I mean, that camera's just been out there, and like I said, I never go bother to touch it or anything else. And of all my other solar panels that I have, two of them are in my house right now because I took down 2 cameras from a different property. But one's in the window right now charging. I mean, you can plug it in and charge it quick, but it's in the window charging. And the other one's actually, I left it outside charging, kind of see which one would take longer to charge to full batteries. And you can even, there's a spot on those lithium solar panels where if you have your phone cord and you want to charge your phone, you could literally plug your phone in and let it charge your phone, if you ran out of battery, if you needed. I mean, there's just some great stuff that SPYPOINT has come out with and they've done. And now this year coming out as well, Kenny, we have a smaller solar panel, and I'm excited to get some of those because, I mean, these panels are 12 by 12 or whatever, but they gather all kinds of, ambient light and direct light and everything. But I think the other ones are going to be pretty slick.
They're small. And I want to say they're like 7 by 7 or 8 by 8. I think it's 8 by 8 is closer to what they are. So they're not real big. And quite honestly, if you wanted to carry one up into a tree stand in your backpack, you could, and just keep your phone charged up there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, you could.
That's cool.
It just works. There's some cool stuff. We talked about. He's talked about having cameras out for a long time. I have I don't know how many of these Link Micro S LTEs.
Yep.
The solar Link Micros. I've got, I don't know, probably 4 of them, and 3 of them have been out in the woods since I got them. How many years ago did they come out with that?
Mine, when I checked it, it said 2020. So yeah, mine's been out since 2020.
It never moved. I mean,
I have the little rechargeable lithium battery, and when it starts to get low, I know that I have another backup one. I just go out, and it's probably every maybe 6-8 months, and I'll go and swap them off.
I've got one that's literally, it's my security camera at my gate of my property here where we live, and it's been out for 2 years, and I've never touched it. Just never. It just runs and takes pictures. I mean, they've been awesome. I mean, they're just really cool.
That's a nice thing too with the dynamic use of the cell cam. You can use it for security. Like, I know we have property we're selling, we put it outside the property just to watch it while we're there, and it's great to be able to use that for hunting or security purposes, whatever you're doing. But I also like Brian's idea of the overhead shot. I think I want to try that. Maybe with some turkey here coming up this year. Definitely deer, but that'd be really cool to get a deer from above, the aerial shot, looking down. Never thought about it.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but there was a company up at the Harrisburg Outdoor Show that had a tool to mount cameras up in the tree.
Yep, they had the big long screw in.
Yeah. Okay. That was awesome. Yep. I forgot. We're gonna have to figure out the name and post it. Yeah, it was an amazing tool to screw your camera up high into a tree and then just detach the pole.
Sure.
Yep. It was. Yep. They've been to the show the last few years. I've talked with them. Yep. I do the old shimmy up a tree and hang on, screw in a thing and then angle it. But I mean, you honestly don't have to put it that far above your mock screen to get some really great picture. And what's great is you can hear them. You can hear them grunt. You can hear them snorting. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many pictures or videos I have where something trips the camera, but you can hear breathing or you can hear grunting or all kinds of stuff. And then you see this big buck walk by and you're like, oh, yeah, there he goes. I'm in school, but he's out there right by the tree stand. So, I mean,
I'm here, not there.
Go to your classroom, dude.
Yep. Gotta go. I'll be right back, kids.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
No doubt.
But I think
Brian, you do anything specific for turkey hunting? I want to know if you do anything different than I do.
Here's what's weird. It seems like where I have my communal scrapes where my cameras are, the turkeys are already there. Like there's one particular camera I will put on a hillside that I have where they like to roost, and they're very vocal in the morning. But I got 12 acres and I got, I don't know, 6-8 cameras on there. They just always seem to show up. Now that I put a kill plot and stuff in, they're there even more. And we don't have as many birds as what we used to. Like everywhere else in the country, you go through those issues of problems. But yeah, I mean, it's usually about this time where I will take one and put it on the hillside because they like to strut up and down the logging road. And they'll trip it in the morning, strutting, and then you'll just hear birds gobbling, up through. And I try to stay off my property a lot, especially in the spring. I'll go up and in the morning, I'll walk the dogs up there and listen, and you'll hear them gobbling through the thing. But it just seems like where I put my communal scrapes, they like to walk and strut anyhow.
It's a fun time of year for that, to watch them out there strutting around and chasing the hens, and it's a blast. I'd like to actually try just to put a decoy out here pretty soon to see if they beat it up on video camera and get that recorded. It'd be a lot of fun to get that. So give that a shot here.
They might. They might.
Yeah.
I've done that during deer season. I'm putting a decoy out during deer season. Does put up a doe decoy just to see what would happen if a buck came by, and it's funny. It's quite entertaining. So especially with young bucks, but I never tried it with turkeys. So
I'll tell you what, I want to thank everybody for being on today, especially Kenny for coming on from SPYPOINT. Check out SPYPOINT.com for all your cellular camera or cam needs. Also, like, share, and give us a little review for the Reinvent the Hunt podcast. And for Kenny, Brian, and I, just want to thank everybody for coming on. And Kevin down there in Maryland, hopefully the bridge is getting opened up, and I saw some shipping lanes that were getting through there. So hopefully things are getting better that way too.
It looks like they're starting to clear it. They'll have it. I'm gonna bet they'll have it in a couple months. We'll have that thing cleared. They're talking about an alternate channel, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, right before election, baby.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
It's going to be a mess.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody, and catch you next time on the Reinvent the Hunt podcast. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
At the watering hole, the bedding area, the field edge, in velvet, during pre-rut, and through shed season. Your next big deer will alert you when he's ready. With the SPYPOINT Flex Series, it's never been easier to scout from anywhere, anytime. The Flex Series from SPYPOINT, available in stores and online.